Roll call.
Holcomb.
Here.
Nikki.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
John.
Here.
Paige.
Here.
Lemmings.
Here.
Bass.
Okay. As far as the agenda items, I need a motion to approve 2 additional ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 additional ordinances by Nikki Brown. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And also, I would entertain a motion to move the Scotland Senior Center presentation to coincide with their resolution when we run that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to make that move. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then I guess by our procedural ordinance, I really need to get a roll call vote on all of the above that we just already voted on. So roll call vote to approve the agenda.
Holcomb.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Paige.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes and financials.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes and financials. Any discussion?
Who's second?
Me. Second.
Page. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? County Judge's comments. I do have one. A week from today, you're all invited to a retirement party. It will be in this room. We're going to be honoring Robert Smith and Randy Ward for their service. So we're going to. It's going to be at noon, a week from today. I'm going to try to make it. I've got a conference next week, so I'm going to try to run in for that and then make my way back out. I'd love to see you all here. We're going to have food. No. We'll have some pulled pork and some smoked turkey. Have some good stuff. Okay. Up to county boards and committees. Board of Governors.
Good evening. You have my report from the hospital, and if you ever, when you read that, if you ever have questions, please call me. If you need more information, please call me. We have some really good meetings. Mr. Deaton keeps us informed. He turns in a really good report every month, and we share that with y'all. On my report to you, I make some handwritten notes and put on that report just to try to keep you in the loop. So anyway, we've got 2 things on our agenda right now besides just regular things we go through, and trying to get the building painted. We're exploring our options. We bid the building, went over our funds severely, so we're working on that, and we'll come up with a solution and get back with you on that. And then we're working on our some other things. But anyway, tonight I've got with me Robert Dempsey. We've asked the judge if he would, Quorum Court, to recommend him and seat him. I don't know if you've done that.
He's already been voted in. He just needs to meet the court.
Robert is a really good friend. He and his wife are really good Christian folks, and they live in the Barton Ridge community, and I'm going to let him tell you what he does, okay?
I voted in while I was trying to get back from Houston last month. I fought the storms. But I've been in information technology for 40 years, the last 20 of it, and managing software applications and a team of developers for a telecom company. It's in 39 states, not Arkansas, but I work from home and manage budget annually from $1 to $3 million. And right now I'm directly managing a team of about 10 people, but usually projects that may have 200 or 250 people on them. So just software and telecom is most of what I do all day. Any questions?
I think you'll make a valuable asset to the Board of Governors. Thanks for volunteering.
Thank you.
Yeah, Robert's been coming to the meeting for some time. He's already engaged and doing good. So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Danny Griffin?
Oh, we're
Do you
good.
want- you do it? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Library, do you need to approach?
Say something?
I know. Write that
This is a red letter day.
It's not just pertaining to the library, but I'm working with, collaborating with a few people in the community to feed the kids during the summer. Our big concern is that the children are have a meal between July up to the time the school starts. And we will be meeting on the 25th at the First Methodist Church to kind of tighten up and come up with some plans, additional plans. And right now we're trying to collect money so that we can do that. And if anybody wants to get involved, maybe if once it gets going, we may need people to help package food or deliver food. We'll let you know. But if you guys can spare anything, just please, we invite you to come and attend if you can. And that's at 6:30 next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Deb? Okay. Sheriff, do you have anything for us this evening?
Everything's going good so far. No problems at the jail. We did have a plumbing issue, but got it fixed.
Good deal.
Court, do you have any questions for any of our elected officials that are among us? Or department heads? And that's going to move us right on along to new business. And our first ordinance is sponsored by Justice Mike Bradford.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number ZO-2023-54, the annual operating budget for 2024 to increase the revenues and appropriate $500 into the Election Commission budget, line item number 1000-109-1001, salaries full-time. Whereas Van Buren County has received a $500 stipend for the individual chosen by the Election Commission as the election coordinator, attended training by the State of Arkansas, and passed the election coordinator training test. And whereas Pam Bradford, County Clerk, was chosen by the Election Commission as the election coordinator for the 2024 elections, and whereas these monies will need to be appropriated into the Election Commission budget and paid out to Pam Bradford, and whereas documentation is attached to this ordinance on the back. I was reading that earlier. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $500 be appropriated into line item 1000-109-1001, salaries full-time, and Section 2, these monies to be paid out to Pam Bradford. Make a motion we approve this ordinance.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Holcomb?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
2024-417. You're being difficult.
Thank you. Our next ordinance is sponsored by Becky Page.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 0-2023-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, to increase revenues and appropriate monies into certain funds for the 2023 federal audit completed in 2024. Whereas the Van Buren County received federal monies for LATC, Local Assistant Tribal Consistency, the cost of the federal audit for the LATC fund is $762.20. This amount will need to be appropriated into fund number 1007-103-3001, accounting and auditing. And whereas Van Buren County also received ARPA, Revenue Replacement Funds, the cost of a federal audit for the ARPA funds is $11,991.70. $991.70 will need to be appropriated into fund number 1006-103-3001, accounting and auditing. And whereas Van Buren County received monies for the Sheriff's Communication Fund /block grant for the Bureau of Land Management from the U.S. Department of Interior. These funds were placed into the County General Fund. The cost for the federal audit is $2,482.70 and will need to be appropriated into Fund number 1000-100-3001, Accounting and Auditing. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $762.20 be appropriated into number 1007-103-3001, Accounting and Auditing. And Section 2, $991.70 be appropriated into 1006-103-3001, Accounting and Auditing. And Section 3, $2,482.70 be appropriated into 1000-100-3001, Accounting and Auditing. I move that we accept this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
I just have one note. As far as the travel funds, I think in looking at the total that we have in the budget, I think that there is a little bit of cleanup we'll need to do next month, just as far as what was appropriated to sanitation. We took care of another way, so we just need to clean that up. The other thing is, as far as what's remaining, I think we can need to make an effort to expend these funds by the end of the year so we don't have to pay for an audit for another year. So we can go over in more in depth. I don't know if we need to have a budget meeting about that or not, but just making sure that, I mean, my vote would be to, save on those audit funds. If on, the ARPA and the travel, we can get that all dispersed out. It's all been attributed to someone. It just needs to get spent or figure out a way to plan accordingly so we don't have further audit costs. Just being something that I wanted to note.
Any further discussion?
This $991, that $11,000, is that already in that line item for that?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Holcomb?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
2024-18.
Thank you. Our next ordinance is sponsored by Nikki Brown. It's one that was voted on to add earlier. And Nikki, if you wouldn't care, let's do the library first.
Okay. Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 023-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, to rescind the requirement of a transfer in the amount of $180,000 from the General Reserve Fund number 1001 to the County General Fund number 1000. Whereas the original appropriation ordinance 23-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, approved the transfer of $180,000 from the General Reserve Fund number 1001 to the County Reserve Fund number 1000. And whereas this transfer had been historically required for funding the library subsidy, and whereas carryover from 2023 and revenues to date in 2024 have been higher than projected, and whereas the transfer of these funds is not anticipated to be necessary in this budget year. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, that Section 1, the original appropriation ordinance 23-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, be amended to rescind the requirement of a transfer in the amount of $180,000 from the General Reserve Fund number 1001 to the County Reserve Fund number 1000. I move we approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Holcomb?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
2024-19.
Thank you. And Nikki, you have our next ordinance.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to transfer and appropriate $50,000 into the Sheriff's Office budget, number 1000-400-4004, machinery and equipment from the General Reserve Fund, number 1001, to be used toward the purchase of dash cameras. Whereas the requirement for dash cameras will be mandated in 2025, and whereas the Sheriff's Office secured grant funds toward the purchase of the dash cameras, however, these funds do not cover the entire cost, and whereas the original appropriation ordinance 23-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, approved $50,000 for the purchase of dash cameras, be paid from the General Reserve Fund, number 1001, and whereas dash cameras have been purchased for the Sheriff's Office patrol vehicles, and payment is due. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $50,000 be transferred and appropriated into the Sheriff's Office budget, number 1000-400-4004, machinery and equipment from the General Reserve Fund, number 1001, to be used toward the purchase of dash cameras. I move that we approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
Yes, I got a question. I thought the ARPA funds, we gave money out of that when we did the budget toward this already.
It is very complicated because I feel like I've asked the sheriff this question. Sheriff, we did give them money from the ARP funds, but that was for
body cameras. These are dash cameras.
Oh, okay.
On the vehicles.
Okay.
And so in the
Camera, I didn't get that.
No, I kept calling him back, being like, "Now you said," and then in the ordinance that we did, we actually noted that. You'll remember that we had already done it last year, but it didn't get paid out by the end of the year, so it expired. So what we did to kind of remind ourselves was it's noted in the budget that we were going to do this, that we were going to ordinance 23-49 to be amended in 2024 to pay $50,000 for dash cameras from General Reserve. But we couldn't do it until we got the bill, and it's just kind of a timing issue. So between dash cameras and body cameras being confusing, and then the timing on that payment, it's a little confusing.
Right. Thank you.
And Virgil, just for clarification, the body cameras, they're paid for. We own them. They're paid off.
So what's your grant? How much grant money did you get for this? Did you?
We get a $50,000 as long as we apply for it and get it, and we have so far. It's $50,000 every year. So when we pay this $50,000, it'll either be divided up over 4 years, or if we get the grant 2 years in a row, then it'll be paid off.
Well, the main thing here is that we're not asking for new money. This is stuff we've already talked about, and we're just now allocating the money out of the budget. That's really all this is.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Holcomb.
Yes.
Nikki.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Paige.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
O 2024-20.
Our next item on the agenda is a resolution, and these can be by title only per our procedural ordinance. And there's no need to read this one in its entirety, I don't believe. So, Virgil, if you wouldn't care to read our next one by title only.
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution authorizing the County Judge of Van Buren County to apply for a grant to improve the Alread Park.
This is the same exact one that you guys approved last year. It did not get approved. These are on a grading scale, and I believe they were in year 29 since they had been approved, and that marked against them. So now that they're up to year 30, it may not count against them. So they're just reapplying because they didn't make it last time. Any discussion? Or did I get a motion to approve in a second?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
R 2024-05.
Thank you. Our next one is sponsored by Esther Bass and David Holcomb. Would you care to read this one? Let's do the title only.
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution to confirm the reappointment of 2 members to the Van Buren County Equalization Board.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. It's the same people, the same ones who have been serving on the EQ board. Their term had expired. They need to be re-upped. Those members are Kenny Willock, Matt Gilmore, Don Hensley, Olis Allen, and Sharon Richardson. And they've been doing the county a very, very good job here in their terms. So I'm happy that they've agreed to stay on. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
R 2024-06.
Our next resolution is sponsored by Sarah Brown, and this one will probably need to be read in its entirety, if you don't mind, please.
Okay. Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution to declare a line of succession for the Van Buren County Sheriff, whereas ACA 14-14-1310 and ACA 12-75-107 provide for interim filling of vacancies for the office of County Sheriff during times of emergency, death, or disability. And whereas there is a need to designate an official line of succession for the County Sheriff, now therefore be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that the following line of succession shall be in place for the office of Van Buren County Sheriff. Number 1, Van Buren County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy. Number 2, Van Buren County Sheriff's Office Patrol Lieutenant. Number 3, Van Buren County Sheriff's Office Administrative Assistant. The vacancy in the office of Van Buren County Sheriff shall be on an interim basis until such time as the vacancy is filled by the Van Buren County Quorum Court or the disability of the sheriff is abated. I make a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. Any discussion?
Yes, I think number 3 should be somebody that's fully certified.
I talked to the sheriff about this, and he's welcome to, and probably yeah, go ahead. This is from the ACA. This is the normal line of succession.
Yeah, so this was sent to us from Mark Whitmore from AAC. Apparently we needed to have it done when I came into office. It's just something that slipped through the cracks. So now we're getting to it, and the sheriff's position can be an administrative position, or you can be a full-time officer. It does not have to be a full-time certified officer. The reason it's in that order, administrative assistant is last, is because if your chief deputy takes over, administrative assistant is the one that knows what bills need to be paid to keep the office running. Then the lieutenant would fall in place, and then last would be your administrative assistant. And it would only be until y'all came together, whether it was a week later or whatever, and said, okay, we're going to put somebody in as an interim. And if y'all wanted to vote in somebody that was full-time certified, that would be fine. If you wanted to vote in somebody that was not, it's still fine. It doesn't have to be a full-time certified person. That position does not require that. Only if you're going to go out and make arrests.
Right, and with that person, would they receive different pay?
I do not know that. I don't know that answer. I don't know if their pay changes.
I mean, a week of pay may make a difference, but
normally they don't. They stay in their position. They're just acting in a role, as in a very temporary role.
And I would think the court would want to elect at the next available meeting or call it. Yeah.
Now, of course, at that time, the court certainly has the authority to pay someone during that time.
Yeah, and when I thought about it and discussed it. The next person I would think of would be the lieutenant over CID, since that's the next.
Right, I was just thinking somebody that's certified.
Right.
How many lieutenants do we have?
We have two, the patrol and then the lieutenant over CID. And the reason I did not do that is because if we pull that person from CID to run the sheriff's business, then your CID is going to suffer. It's just like suffering without your sheriff.
Right.
And technically, as long as the office is running and the bills are being paid, the fines are coming in, it's more of to me, it's more of an administrative effort, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So, again, your chief deputy is going to rely on that administrative assistant to do that and make sure the office is being ran correctly. The chief deputy would too. So, if heaven forbid the sheriff, the chief deputy, and the lieutenant all went down in a helicopter at once, and then she had to step in, she would do it until y'all immediately had your next meeting, whether it was an emergency meeting or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Might be
Right, I
for a
did,
week.
and she's still going to be on staff, but I felt that it needed to be somebody that was fully certified, so that's just the way I'm sticking with that.
It's understandable. I just thought of it from, after finding out it's from the ACA or AAC. I always do that. It's more of a clerical thing until the next person. It's just an interim. So, and the lieutenant over CID would not know how to do fines and process all the payments and bills and all that stuff.
Any of that.
And they are part-time certified, right?
Yes, she has full arrest authority power. She went through the reserve class just like anyone else up there. Yep.
Any further discussion? I find it interesting that yours has to go through quorum court and mine is by executive order. So. Okay, roll call vote. Or all in favor of approving this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
R 2024-07.
What was that? 07.
See, our next resolution is sponsored by Becky Page. And go ahead and read this one if you don't mind.
Okay. Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution authorizing the County Judge of Van Buren County to apply for a grant on behalf of the Scotland Senior Citizen / Community Center. Whereas the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas has determined that the Scotland Senior Citizen Community Center meets eligibility requirements necessary to apply for a grant under the Arkansas Rural Community Grant Program. And whereas the Scotland Senior Citizen Community Center has presented plans to replace the HVAC system and repair a professional-grade stove. And whereas the Quorum Court of Van Buren County recognizes the need for the project and concurs its importance and supports the Scotland Senior Citizen Community Center in its efforts to proceed with the same. And whereas the Quorum Court of Van Buren County agrees to appropriate the sum of $8,600 to be used for the project as a local match. Therefore, be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas. The Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas will appropriate the sum of $8,600 by ordinance to complete the local match money requirement for the project described herein. Be it further resolved, the County Judge of Van Buren County is hereby authorized to submit an application of formal request to the Arkansas Rural Development Commission for the purpose of securing state grant funds in the amount of $8,600 to aid and assist the Scotland Senior Community Center in executing the proposed project described herein, and that the Treasurer of Van Buren County is authorized to administer the grant funds for the same project. And I move we accept this resolution. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. And we have representatives here from the Scotland Community Center. If you guys have any questions for them, or if you guys wish to approach the court and say a few words.
Well, it's just like...
and if you don't care, if you wouldn't mind to come up here, we'll get you on recording.
I don't talk real loud anyhow, but this is one of those situations where it's kind of like shutting the gate after calf's out. You know, it's 90 degrees out, we're needing air conditioners. But we are growing greatly in our community center. It's not only a senior center anymore. We have all ages come in, but we've got activities for them. And this is mainly for our cook and to keep the kitchen a little cooler than what, when the stoves are going and what have you. But these are needing done. we've got 2 different units that are out, and we just need help. That's basically it. And I appreciate Ms. Page sponsoring us on this. But, anyhow, I'm open for questions if I can answer them.
So did you get any more quotes? Is this the only quote that you got?
I did get another quote, but it's about $1,300 more.
Okay.
And even, well, I think Ms. Page's has well, you may have the one she has, but I've got one that is like $14,002.
The second page, Virgil, looks like we got a copy of that one too.
Yeah, that was the original.
I didn't read it.
But he was, we've got to repair our range also, and we've got Bates Mechanical coming in on that. We already voted to get that repaired because all of our thermostats are out on that thing, so the cooks doesn't know what temperature they're cooking at, and it gets smoky in there every now and then because of that. But anyhow, we've got that in the works.
Well, we've only got a copy of Pruitt's.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is Pruitt originally, and my wife, I was out of town last week, and she had taken him in there to show him and said something about the stove, and he I don't think realized what was involved in the stove, and he said he could take care of the stove too for like $200 or $300, and this is going to cost us like almost $1,300 to get this stove fixed. You may question that, but that's a $10,000 Vulcan industrial stove, so it's worth, paying that kind of money to get it fixed. But for right now, well, I started saying something about these women griping about the heat and all that, but I'm not going to say that, sister. Just leave that one alone. But anyhow, we would appreciate any help you, and we do appreciate all the help that y'all give us because you help us a
the
lot.
only quote we have for the HVAC is from Pruitt. You have another quote for the HVAC?
I do.
system?
Well, I've got it down here.
Okay.
The thing about it is he called me like last night and said, hey, I'm on vacation in Tennessee. This was from Bradford, Heat and Air. But he said, I forgot to give you an official quote on that. And he said if I could just present this to you, but for the 2 units was $15,350. So this is how much. Well, I had that from Pruitt at. I had it at $14,002. So that that's a pretty good difference between the 14.
Well, because his first one that he gave had to repair for the stove, and he took that out, and the second one's just for the 2 units, right?
Yes, and
one
that
4
was
ton, 1 3 ton.
13.6.
yes. That's what from Pruitt. Yes. The other one was just for the air conditioners. And when we get that on there, we're going to have something real long to put that up on the top of the roof. Because so if you got a tall forklift, we could use it. Anyhow, any questions?
Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Any further discussion? All in favor of adopting this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
R 2024-08.
Next on the agenda, we have a transfer from $2,299.99 to $2,200, $3,001, $2,484.55 into accounting and auditing road funds for the federal audit. Do I hear a motion to adopt the transfer?
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adopt the transfer. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any public comments? Anything at all? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Any opposed?